Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome to yet another episode of Women in Business. I'm Kemcha Doreen. This is Women in Business on Smart 24 TV. I'm delighted to always have you. Now, Women in Business is very keen. Remember, 3 things. We get to highlight the inspiring journeys of women in business. We're also very keen on mentorships and linkages to resources. At all times, we'll make sure that those 3 particular cores are brought to front. Now, on this episode today, we have an amazing woman. We always have amazing women. This is one of them. Rita, Mrs. Rita Zaninga Kawesa. She's a financial literacy instructor from Thrifty to Bounty. Her focal area of expertise is kids' financial instruction since 2020. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Who is Rita? How did you start? It's amazing because as women in business, we start from somewhere. Yes? And we get to notice that sometimes these discrepancies, the gaps, these wanting to get into business, they start from as early as childhood. Or they are crippled from as early as childhood.
Yeah.
So even as we were talking about, what your program does and how you started off, I want to find out, what have you seen? Let alone, when did you start?
Okay, Thrifty to Bounty and trainings for children started 3 years ago, and we started training children after I got like a training for myself.
Yes.
But I still see that this started actually way back in my teenage, or actually younger, when I saw my mom do certain things, make certain decisions. But I started working quite early in my teenage, and I got to understand the value of money. I started working in my S4 vacation, and I wasted all my money.
You were working
Made all
the
I used to work in a shop that's an Italian shop that sells shoes.
Kampala Road?
No, Speak Hotel. Speak.
Very, very lucky.
Speak Hotel.
Yeah.
So I got to make many of my mistakes there. And my mom would be mad, and I wouldn't understand. What is wrong with this woman? I bring all the money, buy everything she wants. I will go to every place, like buy from every vendor, hoping to make her happy. And she wouldn't be happy, but she wouldn't tell me what I've done wrong. So I constantly didn't know what to do to make her happy. So I went back that next day. Okay, she didn't like these vending things I bought. I'll buy on the next street.
Oh. And I thought like she would, like you assess you, get to sit you down. But that was a different era.
Yeah. So she would see me make the mistakes, but didn't know how to correct it. She wouldn't tell me what it is. So I didn't know what it is. And so I had a lot of money, didn't know what to do with it. And I thought I should spend it on her the way that I knew best. So I made those mistakes. After that period of time, I went into a period where I had no money. I had to go back to school.
Yes.
And I could not believe you could have a day without money. So after going back to school and coming out again and working, I started learning different concepts about money. I don't know, for some reason I would read books about money. I would write things about money. I was interested in this.
Your mind was open.
Yes.
Your mind had been opened.
Yes, because I got a chance to earn and waste money.
Yes.
Got a chance to have no money.
Now you call it wasting. You got an opportunity to waste money, but during that time
To learn.
Yes, during that time it was spending your money,
Yes.
spending the money that you had worked for.
And I don't think I had a feeling of I'm spending my money and I'm enjoying spending my money. It was, I wanted to give it to my mom and make her happy. So my expenses, whatever I thought would make her happy, was what I would spend it on. And it never made her happy. So I earned a lot of money, had no money, and then went back to earning money. Now, when I went back to earning money, I got to appreciate anyone who gives you even 100 shillings of their money.
Because you had spent it, unwisely.
Unwisely. I went through a period with nothing, and now I'm back and I have money. So I was spending it differently. I would sit with my mom and ask her, what do we do? What do we need to do? And then we would decide what needs to be done at home, where we need to spend the money. But then I also learned from financial literacy, I don't even know how I got interested in that I needed to start saving my money.
I think it was like an eye-opener when you lost it, because you mentioned one thing and said you didn't know someone could be there without money.
Yes.
Like when you went back to school.
I actually, one time an adult told me, give me 10,000. And yes, and I looked at them and I'm like, adults can lie. Yes. Adults lie. How can they not have 10,000? So then I get to a point and I don't have nothing.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh.
So the assumption actually through it all was every adult has money.
Money is available. Everybody has money. You don't need to work really much to get money.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you were privileged enough to have. But S4, because I started earning like on my own, like working S6 VAC, right? It was intentional because I didn't want to be broke like through that entire stretch of time. But now I can imagine S4.
An opportunity just happened. Yeah. Come. You know, like people, you know, relatives. Oh, come.
Oh, very lucky.
And then.
That's how it started.
That's how it started. So when I was at this job, after my S6 right into the university, I was more aware. I would save. I knew a portion of my money has to be saved. Because I knew if I would go back in that space where I had no money, I will have nothing. Then my mind started opening up to what are the other avenues of making money. So I was working at International Aid Sweden, but I kept, that time we had scratch cards, and I would constantly see them send the get us airtime. Oh, they used to pay for monthly something on the phones. So every time somebody's going out, so I'm like, I could make that money. If I got the cards right here, I could make that money, and that drove me. So I went out and found out what do I need to do to get cards, airtime cards, so that this whole office buys from me. So I got the cards there. They started buying from me.
And you'd make a commission, I think.
I would make a commission from MTN, and then I would make a profit from these guys. But I was also earning at my job. And then it drove me to think, okay, this organization needs airtime. How about others out there? You know? And so my place of looking for ways to add to my revenue, my sources of income, sort of grew. And later on in life, I get to think about where else can I throw my net, where else.
But so let's even talk about this. You know, it seems as though, because as you're talking, I'm also thinking about my own experiences, yes, with my kids, and it seems really as though if someone tests money, holds money, test is loosely used, right? Quote unquote, gets money, earns as early as possible, there is something that is opened. There is something money does, like when it is not just given to you, but you have gone out and worked for it and earned it. It is like your mind is open. There's some scales that drop off, and the hunger starts. You want to have more. You want to have more, and you're going to be driven to actually look for other ways in which to make more money. True or wrong?
That has a truth to it. The scales come off, and I think that's why some parents would not want their children to have the scales come off. Because, and I think this is the reason why, if you don't have intentionality of when the scales come off, where do we channel this child in issues of money? How do we channel this energy to the right way? Because it's possible to move it to another side, especially when we are not getting the right knowledge and getting the right information, and constantly having somebody who's aware of those things to guide this child to the right place. I think I happen to be in the right place at that time. That nobody really sat me down. I don't even remember.
You were lucky. You were very lucky. Maybe you had observed a couple of things and you didn't even know that you had observed them.
Probably.
Right? In one, because you were working, I think, your mother was very
enterprising.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even when right now you just know that there is a way that are supposed to act around money, there is a way that are supposed to do to be able to earn, there is something because you had been conditioned by observing it over and over among your friends, among your, looking at your mom and stuff like that.
But I'm also thinking, I stumbled onto it and I'm thinking if I had somebody, like when I was making, to guide me, when I was making my mistakes, it was a good experience because after that, the 3 sets of experiences got me probably to where I am today. But I'm imagining when I was making mistakes, one, if you have a parent who allows their child to make those mistakes, because for everything that we learn to do, you start off making mistakes.
What about if the mistake is costly?
It will be costly.
If it is costly.
But if you are intentional, you control how costly it gets. It will be costly. But how costly will it be when you have an adult who is highly in debt because they didn't learn these skills, who cannot pay for their bills, who has nothing, no knowledge whatsoever on how budgeting is done.
So better you make a mistake early and learn from it.
And learn from it.
Than be caught in cyclical debt later on.
Yes.
Please repeat that. Just stress it. Just stress it. Because people need to know these things. People need to know these things. Just stress it and we move on to the next.
When a child is young, it's important for us to instill those values. Allow them to make the mistakes. Allow them to fall. Let them make the money mistakes right now when they're little so that later they don't get entangled in debt. They will be better at saving and they will be better at making the money that you would want to see them making and using it wisely.
But what is it about our society? Let's just get now to the basics. Let's not even sugarcoat it. What is it about our society? I have been looking at the way Indians do things. Yes? Their kids live, they're always so busy, and it's sort of like a network of Indians. Yes, they have very good support systems. And then their kids come in from school, and in most cases, they're very particular on accounting. Yes, the majority that I've seen. Then the kids go within the shops and get to know the merchandise they talked about. They get to train them from as early as possible. They get to really train them in all these things. Now I'm thinking about fast forward to the other Ugandan. Yes, not all Ugandans, but a couple of them, especially when I was growing up. You wouldn't touch money. Where have you got the money from?
Yeah.
Yes, you want to be greedy. You want to be a thief. And remember, it's sort of like cut across. Yeah. To the parents that had the money and also to the parents
that
didn't have the money. Because I was talking to one of them whose parents really did have a lot of money. And she was saying, we never used to have, where would you even have the opportunity to touch the money? Let alone get that mentorship, because they wouldn't even allow you into the business setting.
Why do we talk about,
you want to be greedy. You want to be greedy. Why are you interested in money?
Yeah.
Yes? That's the first thing they would ask. Concentrate on your books.
And today, we still have parents like that.
Exactly.
Who are educated. I've seen some. I have friends who think that way. And they know about the program, but they'll tell me, no, not yet. I don't want my child to be exposed to that information yet.
Why?
But the thing is, that monster in the cupboard will one day jump out because you are sending them to society. You want them to be independent.
No, don't even get far. Yes, don't even get far. Right now, kids are actually my own. I will not I will not talk so much. But in the last 2 schools, literally that my kids have been in, the boarders. Yes, the boarders would actually make an extra dime.
Yes,
from their staff. If it is a sweet, the big sweet bomb, they would actually come in and sell it using their own pocket money.
Yes,
they would actually sell it at 500 or 1,000, just a small sweet.
So the parent is protecting the kids,
and they don't know. The kids are way ahead.
That reminds me of a child I met at this particular school, and it was convention time. that the children are competing in a lot of things, so they are at a particular school for a particular period of time, for a week maybe, sleeping there and all. And this child would be washing everybody's uniforms. And I'm thinking, I found you in the ironing and washing room. I went, came back and found, what are you doing? I'm washing 2,000 a shirt. 2,000.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, okay. And everybody knows she does that, so they pay her. Yeah. And she's making money and not
very good money.
Yes, very good money, because there are many kids who don't want to wash and they have to wash.
Yeah.
So you're covering up that child.
Yeah.
They have been exposed one way or another. But it's better if you give them the right exposure and give them the right information than allowing everyone or anyone or random information to get to them. Because at the end of the day, they might get wrong information. And they might have a way of earning money, but that's not all. We also get into saving money. We also get into budgeting for that money. Getting to know, where do I spend my money and where shouldn't I spend my money? I got an opportunity to work quite early. All my money, according to me at that time, had to be spent. So it was, how do we get this money spent?
There was nothing about saving, nothing about investing.
Nothing. So yes, it's good that the child is getting to learn how to earn. That's the most important thing, because some children know, mommy gives me, daddy gives me, So it's important and it's a good thing. But after that is said and done, many people are in a bad place today because they get the money but don't know what to do after getting it. So that child should be exposed, because when they grow up, the world is a monetary world.
And it's so weird. It's so weird that we even get to talk about these things, because I was thinking about my own daughter. Yes, out of all the three, she's the one that saves nothing. She eats it all. Like, she eats it all. There's just a pool. They can have, make their 3,000, 3,000, 5,000, and it's like that money keeps pulling her. She'll first start off with 500, then come back. It's like it itches her. She picks another 500, goes back. Then, now this is what she does. Because she doesn't want to be alone spending, then she drags someone else. Yes. Then I'll get another 500 and we go together. Can't you see? It is nice. It is nice. She's done it, I think, twice. Yes, and they've reported us. So how do you rein in a kid like that?
Now, what I think about when you're saying that is my place, that place when I would just spend. And I'm seeing, I got to that place when I'm in my S4 vacation. Your child is at that place right now.
Yeah.
So what do we do when they're at that place? I have children too, and I see that my older one, I've put balances of, I rein her in and then I let her. Rein her in and let her. And this is what happens. We've learned about these things. We go with her when we are training. She knows everything. But the issue is, I need to let her practice. So now, discipline of practice and making those mistakes. So I've told her, you know how to make a money plan. You know what your money plan says. You know what you need to give. You know what you need to spend and what to save.
Yeah.
Here's the money.
Yeah.
If she has earned her money. And then you check on her later. How much do you have? How much did you save? And there's nothing. And I tell her, you know what? You are not going to earn from me. Try to earn from out there. Because you're not practicing what I'm teaching you too. Yeah. And then she has spells of nothing. And then another spell comes of something. Then she
gets excited.
But also it's like, there's that time when there is nothing.
So let me just keep for that day.
Yes, and then I've told her, every money you save, I match it by 50.
All right.
So if you get to save, I'm going to match it by 50%. What are you saving? Incentive. So sometimes, yes. But there's the 50%. Yes. And then she saves on some days and other days she doesn't. But what I am so sure about is that she is learning.
She's picking up something.
Yes, because the mistakes are a part of the whole process. They are. They are.
So basically, as an incentive, because what I was doing in mine, yes, in my own work, is that I would basically tell them over and over again, you eat some, yes, save some, not actually in the other format, you tithe some, save some, and then eat some. Always.
Spending is the last one.
Yes.
That's what we
always.
say.
You always first tithe, then you spend. Then you save.
Then you save.
Then you spend.
Do they know how much to spend, how much to save and tithe? Because we have something called a money plan. Everyone drew their money plan. Okay, I'll tell them, you don't buy any food at home. Your money plan should have a save of 50%.
Yeah.
Because you don't buy anything. And then you decide...
Can this money plan be according to what is, according to your emotional standing?
We don't change it.
You don't change it.
We come and say, okay, make your money plan. This is what I suggest. Make your money plan.
Yeah.
And they make their money plan. Probably they have an amount, and they're thinking, if I put it at 30, I'm getting little spend.
Yes.
You allow them to. But the thing is, you get to use that money plan minimum 6 months. You don't change it when the money is little.
Oh, it remains.
It remains.
And that's the discipline you're
and
talking
that's
about.
the discipline and the habit, financial habits that you're trying to grow.
Yeah.
So it remains.
Yeah.
When you get 50, it remains. If you have 5,000, it remains.
Yeah.
The whole point is you follow your money plan, because that's the habit. If I have 1 million and I want to save half of it, then when I get 10 million, I want to change it. Why?
Yeah.
You don't get to change it at random.
Same.
It remains the same for a certain period of time. So that means you allow a person, or you allow the child to get into habit.
Okay.
Habit.
All right.
Sometimes it falls on the wayside, but the more that habit is practiced,
it becomes a pattern, it becomes a habit.
yes. So you want it ingrained in their mind that you don't just get money
and then
spend it.
Emotionally.
You get money and there's things to do.
And
What's your
planned
tithe?
out.
What's your save? Then after you do those two, spend. You don't start spending. You know how adults get money before they get home, they've spent it all?
Yes.
Exactly. So you cannot start spending before you give tithe and save.
Yeah.
Because if you start spending, those other two things never happen.
You've heard it. This is an intense conversation, and sometimes we're just going to have critique ourselves and learn, continue learning. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. But this time we're going to talk about the relationship of what you're doing, especially with kids, and how fast forward the particular financial habits that women get to have or not have within their businesses. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
Smart 24.